Hey, Bryn, keep an eye on Kaz for me, okay?
You're worried about her?
The last time I saw her this strung out was during her point training. I was talking to Sola the other day. It doesn't seem like she's sleeping much.
Casmin isn't someone I'd describe as easygoing on a normal day. What exactly has you worried?
Some of the things she was asking you for, we just don't need. Or at least not in those quantities.
90 Ash Peak Drake scales did seem like a stretch.
Normally she's more deliberate in her backstocking. This feels irrational.
I thought Kashar generally sleep less than the rest of us. Is it really that concerning?
Less sleep, not none. We all need to rest sometime. When I asked Casmin about it, she mumbled something about how she'd sleep when everyone was safe. I tried to ask what she meant, but she didn't want to talk about it further.
That is concerning. I'll let you know if I notice anything. Don't worry. I'm sure Casmin will be fine.
You're probably right. Just keep your eyes open. She seems to open up to you more than the rest of us.
The cold sunk right into the stones here.
This is why we use wattle and daub back home. Insulates properly.
Hello, Fire Rise. Religious beliefs from across the Maida were practiced in the Enclave. But the Church of the Hallowed Pyre values monuments. They regularly erect temples and shrines.
To better spread their influence.
Why else would a religion invest in property?
This temple has seen better days.
The high pyre remains intact, though. Built to last.
Should be a drop somewhere around here. Let's see. Supplies. That's good. More orders. Huh.
What's up?
Drops will be assigned to specific teams and tracked individually to deal with recent concerns.
That's boss talk for... We're watching you because someone had their hand in the cookie jar.
Ark of the Living Flame. Lightly armored compared to the others, but expect things to get hot.
This must be the Tomb of Champions.
Champions?
The most accomplished weavers were honored with statues.
Always do with a little heat.
If the surge hadn't hit so hard, the steps would lead to the spire. Alas. Elected representatives would convene there, including the Eye, the Enclave's leader.
Imagine a time when Weavers had our own governing body. According to the old maps, that path leads to the Bastion, their military stronghold. This must be the Bastion.
A large military was never the Enclave's priority. They did not aspire to conquest. Instead, they focused on defense. Their core interest was protecting not only their civilians, but their cutting-edge innovations. Soldiers could see for leagues from vigilant falls. The patrollers would easily spot incoming attacks.
Far jump, even for you.
Too bad I don't have wings.
Feathers wouldn't suit your face. Lane, any idea what that pillar is?
I did find a reference to the Trial of Fires, a rite of passage for new Bastion Sworn before they could cross over to their new life.
Crossing over? Trial of Fires? Unsubtle. Bryn, what happens if you make it hot? Hold on, hold on. I'm pulling you. Brace for it. Hold on, hold on. I'm pulling you. Brace for it. Impressive as a Highland ice claw mid-flight on a clear day.
The keep housed the Enclave's war room. Matters of high security were discussed inside.
Some sort of access beneath the keep.
Looks like a war room.
It looks like the recorded minutes of the meetings that took place here. The last one is dated roughly 26 years ago.
What was it about?
A lot of information was thrown off. Casualties got too high due to something they blotted over with ink. And the military commander should execute a defensive measure called asylum. Asylum? What could that be?
Scour the rest of the keep and find out.
Military workshop for enchanters.
The Enclave never used magic to expand its borders, but had to defend itself.
Against nations that thought otherwise.
Exactly.
Research notes from about 40 years ago, probably from an enchanter that worked here, observing arc degradation. Looks like there was an expected and normal amount of degradation observed in the arcs following the surge. But once the arcs start killing civilians, it says, this is a systemic failure. What could that mean?
It means the arcs weren't sent to attack us as a means of defense.
They've lost control over them.
A final note scrawled on the cover page. The Archons will be no use in Asylum's execution.
Hold on. Can't stretch the scry any further.
Should be a drop somewhere around here. Another notice. Drops must be completed and all runners to safety before the next predicted flood.
This confirms they have a way to predict the floods, and some way to stay safe.
Let's stay focused on our runners for now. That's all of them.
3 supply drops. Not a lot of answers.
I believe I can help with that.
You know, I'm a little surprised to see a Hallowpire temple take such pride of place in Dinevron.
What do you mean?
I'd always envisioned the Enclave to be a little more progressive. At least compared to Renland, where I'm from. The Church of the Hallowed Pyre has a tight grip on the populace there, to say the least. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with religion, of course. I'm not going to proclaim myself an authority. It's simply that my personal experiences with that religion were quite negative. As was their view on magic in general.
After seeing the spire, I can't help but wonder how effective the Enclave's governance was. Did their system work? Was it better than what we have across the Maida? Many questions present themselves.
Do any answers present themselves?
Well, we have the raw facts. If I recall correctly, their government was run by a council that varied in size through the years. At the top of the pecking order were the eye, the spindle, and the axle, all representatives voted in by the council members or various guilds. The documentation currently available to me is rather lacking in detail, though. The succession processes, for example, are unclear.
How's it compared to what you have at home?
Undoubtedly more functional, I'll give it that. The Udean Federation is, to put it plainly, a mess. To the point where our unofficial national dish is a specially prepared meringue that lasts approximately 10 seconds before collapsing.
You all right?
I know we're talking politics, but truth be told, all I can think about now is food.
Kaz might have gathered some herbs. You could try sweet-talking her into mixing something up.
In that case, I think I'll go bother her for a late breakfast. You can't do archival work on an empty stomach, after all. Yes, and if the R is with the numbers of false increment that just indicates spaces... Ah!
Got it?
Yes. I'll translate all that we have and we can discuss it with Casmin.
Good stuff, Lane. We need all the information we can get.
And valuable insight into post-surge society that developed here.
Well, Codebreakers, how are we feeling?
Satisfied. We have enjoyed reasonable success.
That's Lane's way of saying they crushed it.
Notes being passed between a brother and sister, quite candid, and dissatisfied. In particular with their boss, who they refer to as the Grumple.
The Grumpole?
A Renland myth, where ill-behaved children would be gathered up in a sack and tossed into the river to drown at the end of the year.
Bye.
The Grumple, yes. Renland fables prominently feature drowning as a punishment for children. The myth has fallen out of favour in recent decades, though. Ren society is less forgiving of flights of fancy.
The Grumpole. Really?
Really.
Moving swiftly on. What else did the drop say?
Remember that ominous note about tracking individually in specific teams?
From the context provided by our hauler, we now know a significant number of Hearthsiders survived the surge.
But only just surviving. They relied on the runner-hauler teams. But supplies consistently went missing. There is also a sense that the Enclave was getting increasingly dangerous for the Scouts.
The floods, of course.
With supplies running thin, the supply teams were falling under suspicion of stealing.
This pair responded with the entirely reasonable, if exhausting, plan of overperforming.
I've done that job, Lane. Sometimes you just need to prove the ass in charge wrong.
Indeed. They collected a cache of rare items they were planning to turn in when they felt its size and value would erase any suspicion.
Do we know if they turned it in?
No, but we know what it was. Or is.
And that's where I come in.
Everything all right?
Yeah. There's just so much. Oh. And a letter. Encoded like the others.
Can't wait to work it out.
So, the letter. I'm prepared for bad news.
How did you know?
They were collecting supplies for other survivors. We know someone is out there. The supplies never made it to them. That, and the tear stains.
Is that what that was? Yes, well, there's a lot to cover. We have the cache itself and our scrounging siblings. We should at least give you the high-level details on both. Where do you want to start?
Talk to me about the supplies.
They did astonishing work. If I weren't sure they're both gone, I'd hire them. Indeed, a robust collection, including several enchanted objects we barely recognize. They had a keen eye for things that could decay and took care to preserve them.
You two sound giddy.
If there's one thing Lane and I are passionate about, it's preservation of rare objects.
Were there any hints of more of these?
As far as we can tell, this was it. Their motherlode. It's impressive one runner could gather this much, frankly.
Have you been working your magic, Casmin?
Obviously. Thank you for bringing everything back so carefully.
Anything of note?
Yes, but let's save that until we've done the other questions.
Mysterious. That's enough about the cache.
Sure.
What did the final note say?
Yes, right. It was a farewell. One sibling disappeared. The runner.
I thought the runner of the pair was the one we found.
So did we. But this last message was a farewell to his sister. Apparently the Grumpole...
Really?
I know. But apparently their boss had been ordered to stop wasting resources on the search. And so our hauler left this farewell, hoping his sister might find it on the off chance she was alive. He was going to remove all their other messages so their plan wouldn't be found out. We postulate he was on his way to do that
when the flood caught him.
These people, however many are left, they've really been through it. They might really need our help. They're still organized and have a command structure, but it sounds dysfunctional.
Is there anything we could do, do you think?
Sadly, no. But their story will live on in our chronicle.
Did we confirm they weren't actually stealing from the Enclave?
The letter seems genuine. I think their plan was to bring in a big haul. It says a lot about the Hearthsiders that our siblings thought this would clear any suspicion.
How so?
The cloud of suspicion tells us they were in dire times, tightening the screws on their own people. But bring in a big load and we trust you. Doesn't that sound a little like a bribe?
So you think our runners were dirty?
No. I think the system's dirty, and they're just stuck working through it.
I'm not going to say the name, but do we have any sense of who was giving their orders?
The Enclave's leader was called the Eye, a first of firsts, after a fashion. Elected from the masters of each craft, the High Smith, High Enchanter, and so on. Unfortunately, we don't have any details about their direct superior. I will spare you the name.
Let's move on to something else.
Of course.
So, where do we go from here?
We're not sure. It's something of a dead end. It is a win. We have restocked a number of very rare supplies, including enchanting supplies we don't have any immediate use for, but they'll be worth keeping. For study, if nothing else. I suppose the only other thing to say is, good job, Bryn. Indeed. we have made progress in unraveling the shape of what the post-Surge society looks like in the Enclave. Further, these documents are invaluable to the historical record.
And maybe you'd put a couple souls to rest. Not to be sentimental. Our supply runners might be why there are so many crates gathered around the city.
Why do they reappear, though?
Dom and I have a theory. The arcs might still be partially functioning.
So, when they're not trying to kill me, they tidy up the place?
Like I said, a theory. But that was a big part of what they were built to do.
Shame to lose such prodigious runners. They were really very good.
The Hearthsiders have had it harder than any of us expected.
Worrying. Still, we'll carefully store and catalogue all their finds. Least we can do.
You know, there's one silver lining to the sad tale of our deceased runners.
What's that?
We know the Hearthsiders still have some advanced production capabilities. The materials they were gathering don't have much use for basic survival. Therefore, weapons, armor, and enchantments.
Any concerns about us claiming them?
None. They've been there long enough. Scavenger etiquette applies. These kinds of materials are too rare to let go to waste.
The Half-Siders are scavenging their own city. Things must be dire.
I'm worried about them after that particular discovery.
You've a kind heart, Bryn. Though I'll stick to worrying about us, if you don't mind.
Strand will be useful.
This must be where the military stored supplies and weapons before the surge.
Collapsed tunnel. Judging from the size, it could have been a route for Archons.
Private chambers, perhaps belonging to the Bastion's commander.
A letter to the commander from Khan Stanild. He signed his title beneath. The Eye. Times have necessitated an information blackout. The cause of the casualties must be purged from even the Bastion's most secure records. Furthermore, military personnel are to be separated from civilians, unless facilitating the evacuation from Denevral. If word of the problem's true severity spreads across the populace, panic will be uncontrollable. It is imperative that asylum succeeds.
Paints a stark picture.
All these documents you're finding will be illuminating. I might be
be able to piece this together soon. But whatever Asylum is, it sounds like a large-scale military endeavor. We should find more evidence of it than just a few papers.
I need to keep scouting the Bastion then. Found a key swatch. There's a note with it. It says, "Commander, it's ready. Use the harness to execute Asylum."
Another key swatch. Wonder if it will lead us to whatever the harness is.
Only one way to find out.
With the documents you found in the Bastion already, wherever that key swatch leads must be a crucial piece of the puzzle.
I'll use it when I'm ready then.
After the surge, no one was even sure that anyone inside the Vale survived. Yet, clearly, they've been here in dire straits this entire time. Why didn't they lower the Vale to seek help? Surely a few broken arcs isn't what stopped them.
The Enclave seems to hold never-ending secrets. Who knows what else its leaders were hiding? Maybe they kept the Veil up to withhold their discoveries from powerful enemies.
And their kin. All the weavers they shut out with that veil. No, that can't be it. These were the greatest weavers of all time. If only... Never mind. It's silly.
Can't help but wonder what life might have been like if they'd lowered the veil.
Not just for them, but for all of us. No matter who you were or where you came from, the Enclave could be your home. After the Surge, Weavers didn't just lose the Enclave. We were outcasts in every nation. Not that I need to tell you that. You sacrificed a lot to become a Weaver. The Veil served as a constant reminder that magic was the source of all the world's problems. A convenient scapegoat for every failed leader. And Weavers were an acceptable casualty. and the Hearthsiders just left it there.
So we need to find out why.
An expected abnormal amount of degradation in the aftermath of the surge.
Looking over the notes from the Bastion,
Dated almost 40 years ago, contemporaneous with the surge. The enchanter who created the notes was quite junior. Most people who had actually designed arcs had died in the surge, it seems.
the best we have is a novice's musings?
The observations appear accurate, and the enchanter was careful not to draw any ill-founded conclusions. But good methodology cannot replace experience. It makes sense now that the Enclave lost control of their own constructs.
If we could help the Hearthsiders get on their feet, do you think they could regain control of the arcs?
Anyone who knew anything about the Ark's core design is long dead. A particularly innovative enchanter might have some luck with minor malfunctions, but the Arks aren't simply shut down or stumbling blindly in fields they once farmed. They've become violent, presumably even against their creators, and that won't be solved by something as simple as reapplying their grease.
There's no hope of regaining control.
With enough dedication, time, and research, anything is possible, but it won't be easy. Don't stay your blade just yet.
The arc we followed through the Vale wasn't hostile. Any new ideas on what makes it different?
No new leads. Maybe we'll uncover more as you continue to explore Denevran, but we do know our little friend is quite resilient to magic in general. That certainly could have contributed.
The letters were untouched, but the Eye blotted out a lot of information from other documents I collected in the Bastion. Do you think the Enclave's leader was trying to hide the Ark hostility from his own people?
I'm not sure how you could hide the fact that constructs taller than a building have gone on a rampage. Still, in times of crisis, paranoid governments have tried to bury all manner of scandals. And the Enclave certainly seems paranoid.
I guess there's still a lot of Ark smashing in my future.
For the time being, at least. Unfortunate.
Yeah. If we can't use them to farm, they make great scrap.
Relegating the Enclave's premier innovation to scavenged parts isn't a victory we should be celebrating.
It's something. Tangles, as far as the eye can see. odd. That ark's just standing there. No sign of damage, but there's something lodged in the back plate. It's a thingy.
So technical. I'll take a look later. I have asked our third friend to join us since he demonstrated such insight with the loom gates.
It was just a lucky guess.
Nonsense. The loom gate works. Enough said.
Gents, the, thingy?
Dom said you found it attached to an ark. One that was shut down.
No sign of damage, but this part came off easily.
It's safe to assume it wasn't part of the original construction then. The arks are famously durable.
Bryn, think back. How does it compare to the ark we found outside the Vale?
Exactly the same. Completely motionless. At least at first.
We should take another look at our newest friend then. Care to do the honors?
Same place? Same place. Well observed, Sev. You were correct.
Just a lucky guess.
Up. No more of that. Lady, gentlemen, I think we can confidently assert conspiracy.
2 devices does start a pattern.
And a pattern that must predate the Surge, since we found a device that was outside the Vale.
True. That gives us a what and a when, but leaves a whom, a how, and a why.
And how many arcs have been affected?
It does follow that if we found 2, there could be more.
I'll keep an eye out for tampered arcs.
Some may have restarted on their own, like the one we followed through the Vale.
They're going to fight back, aren't they?
It does seem to be our luck, yes. Sev and I have been digging into the devices you recovered and developed a working theory.
We'll test it against the ones you found in the field.
How are you feeling about this whole Archon sabotage investigation, Sev?
I am unsettled. The thought of arcs being smuggled out of the Enclave makes me wonder what else was happening just before the Surge.
It's pretty clear they were up to some stuff wildly over their collective heads. But don't worry, Sev. We're going to figure it out. Lane's going to write the book.
You're right. It's just the implications of an arc being smuggled out. Was someone trying to reverse engineer how they were built? And if so, Who?
The best way to put those worries to bed is to keep searching. What have we found?
That I am a very great fool.
He is not a fool.
I am. Hours trying to unravel the complex enchantments in each of these devices, and Sev here, paragon of clarity, points out a single point of commonality so mundane I had ignored it.
I'm sorry to have to let you in on the secret, Dom, but it's time you learned the truth about the Cabal.
The what?
It's true. People like Sev and I are here on a secret mission to keep you, and specifically you, humble.
It won't work. Many have tried, but enchanting requires the ego to insist the universe bend to our will. What our keen-eyed friend spotted was a singular mark etched into each device.
A maker's sigil. We used them in Tarza to lay claim to a craft work. They're certified to each maker. And I've always heard we borrowed that practice from the Enclave.
Meaning this mark could be registered in public records.
The Spire is a logical next stop. Nothing comforts the rich and powerful like bureaucracy.
That's where I'll start looking then. A loom gate near the spire. Probably for the Enclave's council members. Might not be one myself, but I'd better grab a key swatch. Impressive building. Wonder what's inside. I'd always heard the Enclave liked to keep extensive records. It's a lawkeeper's dream. Let's see if we can find a residue of Maker's sigils. This looks like some kind of evacuation plan. Old. Probably from before the surge. Tables with assets listed. Looks like a tabulation of supply levels. Coordination for the runners and haulers. They remained in the city for years after the surge, according to these dates. Wonder why they left. Just some birth records. Surprisingly detailed.
Valuable. We'll have to make sure Lane adds them to our archive later.
Here we go. Sigils. Ah, found it. Our creator is listed here as Lucia de Crassus. 2 registered workshops, both council approved for dangerous materials. She must have had some pull before the surge. One was here in the city, and the other, let's see. I've been there. That frozen town in Dredger's Mire. Better wear something warm.
I think it's important we run this one down, Rin. The water clock is dripping.
A lot of damage this high up. Back in the spire. Let's see if we can find a registry of Maker's sigils.